It was on this very day 69 years ago when war broke out on the Korean peninsula. And until this day, the Korean War still hasn't ended. Why have the two Koreas divided for so long? And what brought us here to where we are today? Hello, this is Grace Shin from Korea Now. Marking the 69th anniversary of the Korean War, let me first start with telling you how it all started. Korea was under Japanese colonial rule from 1910 until the end of the Second World War in 1945. 3 years after Japan's surrender, the United States and the Soviet Union, engaged in the Cold War at that time, decided to divide the Korean peninsula. In June 1950, the Stalinist regime under the leadership of Kim Il-sung invaded the pro-American South by surprise in an attempt to unify the entire peninsula into one communist state. Communist allies like the USSR and China backed the North, while UN forces, most of them from the United States, arrived to help the South. 3 years of bloodshed came to a halt with an armistice reached in 1953 after newly sworn-in U.S. President Dwight Eisenhower threatened to use nuclear weapons if the communist side would refuse to end the war. USSR leader Joseph Stalin's death also contributed to the ceasefire. Now, the armistice might have ended active fighting, but there was no peace treaty signed. This is why there were expectations for a formal conclusion to the Korean War when North Korean leader Kim Jong-un abruptly turned to diplomacy with South Korea and the United States last year. It was in 2017 when tensions between Pyongyang and Washington reached its peak, with President Donald Trump and Chairman Kim trading some serious verbal threats. Trump called the North Korean leader a little rocket man, taunting him that he will be met by fire and fury should the regime continue military provocations. In fact, throughout 2017, North Korea conducted a number of advanced missile tests and its largest nuclear test to date. Then in 2018, there was a sudden turn of events. Kim Jong-un started to make a diplomatic outreach, breaking years of isolation on the back of a liberal government taking power in the South and the unpredictable Trump accepting face-to-face talks. He suddenly emerged as a powerful player, meeting leaders of South Korea, the US, China, and Russia over the past year. Even Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who maintained a tough stance against the North, is literally lining up to meet him. But despite 3 inter-Korean summits and 2 North Korea-US summits, talks to denuclearize the North have fallen apart, with Kim and Trump failing to reach an agreement in their last encounter in Hanoi. Chinese President Xi Jinping's recent trip to Pyongyang is raising hopes for China to push North Korea back to the negotiating table. But the prospect for the major breakthrough in nuclear dialogue remains dim. This was Grace Shin from Korea Now.